Hi, I'm Donna Dewberry, the original creator of the one-stroke painting technique. I'm here at Plaid's wonderful studio, and we are going to work more on our great new program, Let's Paint One Stroke Flowers of the Month. So we have already painted 3 different flowers so far during this year, and I'm thrilled to see many of you out there stroking, practicing, painting all sorts of surfaces, and I've got more to share with you now that's going to be so exciting. We are going to do April's flower today, and April's flower is going to be painted with our wonderful FolkArt multi-surface paint, my favorite. And when we're doing this flower, you're going to love that we're going to learn how to multi-load our brush so we get a variety of colors of sweet peas. And I'm going to do a contemporary looking container and show you how to add those bright colors in there, which was going to make it even better than before. And did you know that sweet peas mean blissful pleasure? Well, I know you're going to have pleasure painting with me now, so let's paint. So we're ready to start our project, and I want you to see the finished project and see how the background is. So let's look at your background first. Try to not look at this, but look at what the movement, the shading. I shaded on this side of the vase. I drew a little vase in here. It's kind of straight, but it's got color, and it's got gray and white, so I used black with white to get the gray, and we're gonna get started, all right? So I'm gonna put this aside, and we're gonna use our multi-surface paint. I've taken a pencil, and I just kind of sketched, all right? So if you're looking at this, you can spread 4 fingers here and 4 fingers here, and that gave me this line. And I've kind of picked about the middle of the canvas. If you're looking at this, you pick the middle of the canvas. And normally I'd scoop this vase so it looks rounded, but you're not gonna see anything up there, but I just want you to see how I'd lay that out. You don't have to worry about it being sketchy because the sponge and the paint and all is gonna move that leading, and it will be fine. So here's the wonderful sponge that you can work with out of the kit, and it's gonna make a great background, all right? So I'm going to pick up white and a teeny bit of the black, all right? And that's the licorice. And then I'm going to start over here going back and forth. I might pick up a little bit more white because I wanted a lighter gray over here. And we're going to brush some out with a brush too. But I just want to get it started by getting some color in the background. I also like to do the edges of the canvas as I go. All right, so that it matches the same color, all right? So this part's pretty easy, and we're gonna make it even look more wonderful as we get going here. So I'm putting some darker grays on this side, and I might even come right along here, and which I can do with a sponge, with a brush also. But we're gonna come right there and get a little bit more color in there, okay? So I'm going to put that to the side right now, and then I'm going to work with my 3/4 brush. So this is my 3/4 flat. I'm going to lay it on the paper towel for the excess to go, excess water to not be in there. And then I want to have movement back here. So I'm going to pick up white, and on this side, see how you can still see the white even though there's white there? It's going to look like there's movement. See that? All right. And so it's, I call it slip, slap, slip, slap, slip, slap. And you want to leave that movement. You don't want to make it smooth. A lot of people overwork that, and it takes away from what we're trying to, the look we're trying to get, okay? So I did put a little bit of a glow up here. See? There we go. Now, this is when I want to start bringing in some of the gray tones. So I'm just going to grab the white. I'm going to have to get a little bit more white though. We've been using it up here. All right, so see the color back here? Now I decided to put some blue in the middle there because it's what's underneath the flowers. Because sometimes if you just leave white back there and then you're putting all the flowers, you're not getting depth. And so that's a little bit of what I'm going to show you on this painting that will help you look at other kind of paintings you do. Okay, see I keep getting the black, but I kind of work it on my palette into the white. See that? Okay. So see, after you sponged it, look how quick that makes that happen. All right. And I did still come in a little bit more. So just make it whatever depth you want it. I just kept adding a little bit to it and leaving the brush strokey look. All right, I don't know if that's the proper name for it, but that's what I call it. All right, but you can move fast because it already had that nice finish on the background with our sponge. Okay, all right, now smaller strokes. Now that I'm getting down to the bottom, now I put a little bit white here and a darker here, so let me bring a little bit more white back in here. But I kind of like some of that. I might leave some of that there. All right, and now right along here, we're going to put a nice blue edge on there, but I did shade a little bit more for the shadow there. And that's something also we can do at the very end. And we can float it there, which I've done many times. All right, so there we go. Now before we do the bucket, I'm going to wash out this brush. And it's a container or a vase, or it's not really a bucket. All right, so in the center here, I started out with my brush and did white. All right, so as we're putting the white in here, I am gonna put an edge here. But then I'm going to put white and blue together there. All right, so it's just a little bit of a coat. And smooth down here. So I had 4 fingers wide on both sides, but here is a little bit tighter. All right, so let's grab some blue. This is your cobalt blue. And see, look how fun this is. Now I want a little bit more white there, and I can chisel edge down here to get a nice straight line. Now normally I can run my finger down here, but because it's wet, I'm holding it up. Okay, so I want to get a little bit more white because I don't want it to be so dark on this side. And then on this other side, I'm going to do a little bit darker. All right. So I'm going to wipe this off a little bit because I don't want all that white in there. And we already have white down here. So let's keep grabbing the blue and running it right down here. That's what I want, this blue right there. Okay, so if I have a ridge like that I'm not happy with, you can just brush that in. See, I just take my finger and brush it in. Especially if you get a ridge and you don't want that ridge. All right. I've got base coat all over my fingernails right now. All right, so let's get some more blue. There's no mistakes with one stroke painting. You just pick up more paint and stroke it again. Okay? All right, so real loose strokes, all right? Now, if I did a lot on there, I could still stroke some more white on there, which I will in a minute, but this is what I decided to do, is just come back here for that depth behind the flowers. Remember what I said? If I left white, it would look like I have to put a whole lot of flowers to get some depth in there. So what I decided was, when I was doing this, is to just stroke some of that blue shading in the back, and it's going to make a big difference. All right, so the beauty of this is, if we're doing wet on wet, we can start painting those flowers now, but I want to go practice them. And I can come back later and shade along here. And I can also wash this out, put a little bit of the citrus green and a little bit more white. So I can take the white and stroke it down, see? Just get a little bit of white, just for more of a contemporary feel there. A little bit of glare, which I like. And then I just stroked a little bit of green, just a hint of it. Okay? There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set this aside. I'm going to get rid of the plate here. And I'm going to be ready to practice while that's drying on my worksheet. Okay, here's my reusable teaching guide. This is April's flower, and it's the sweet pea. So what happens on here, on these guides, they have a film on here so you can practice and wipe off. And what we have is I put the FolkArt multi-surface colors that we're using, and then the brush sizes that I'm using. And I give you a little inspiration about the flower. And this is one that's finished kind of that you can practice just one stem of sweet peas all the way to their little buds. And you can practice on that too. But I also, as we're gonna practice right here all the strokes, and these are my actual strokes. So as I'm picking up my brush and loading it, I'm gonna push till it fits this size, or not push when you don't want it to be pushed bigger, okay? I also have some strokes to show you the blending that you're gonna wanna start with before you start painting. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is do some flowers so we're ready to go to our piece. But what I wanna show you is all the inspiration that I put on here, from the wood to glass and metal. And so that's gonna inspire you on layouts, okay, on how to do your layouts. Now, I'm gonna start with our different brushes here. The first one we're gonna start on is we're gonna use our 12, and I'm gonna pull my colors over, and let's talk about the colors we're using. The first color I have is Violet Pansy, Wicker White, and Magenta. And a little bit into the blossoms as we're doing them, I put a teeny bit of citrus green. So I wanted a little dot there that we could use. I have floaty medium in the middle. Okay, this is apple red and dioxazine purple. Okay, so we're gonna take our 12 and we're gonna come here and load this brush. Now you take the brush in the water, you're gonna lay it on the paper towel for the excess water to go out. And the first loads we're gonna do is purple and white, Violet Pansy and Wicker White. So we're gonna pick those up, and see I split the brush to get the two colors, and then I'm gonna work it in really hard. All right, now what that does is it works it in. The reason we're going fast is it gets into the bristles inside. So as you're stroking, the brush won't separate. All right, then I can pick up a little bit more. This time I don't push so hard, and we're ready to go. Now I'm gonna go practice, and you can practice right here on this stroke to see if you've got the right blend. And that's good. You also wanna have, I make a paper towel that's like an eraser, and fold it up, and then I wet one little corner of it, okay? Now, I'm gonna pick up more paint here, but if I need more than I have on here, I could dip a little bit of purple, flatten it, and then I'm ready to go. And the arrows are gonna show you which way to go. So I'm gonna start here, I'm gonna go up and over, and then I'm gonna go up and over and put a second stroke right on top, and you're gonna just follow my strokes. So a little bit more purple on the tip of this brush, and I can do a little bit of a wiggle and a little bit of a wiggle. So you get blending and shading as you go. This last stroke that comes on right here, I can also just push down and stand up and get a little last bit of stroke on top of here. See that? Right on top. Now I can wipe it off frequently, because this paint's made to stay on all surfaces, so it might stay here more than you want it to stay here, okay? So you can see the different strokes I did with different colors, and the sweet pea, you can lay those last strokes that I put on it occasionally in different layering colors here. See this? Little layering colors. We also normally put a stem out, and then we start putting the flowers on top of the stem, okay? So let's start, and I'm gonna go between the purple and the pink. The magenta and white makes the pink, and the violet pansy and white was gonna do the lavender. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this over, and you can see it's pretty much dry around the outside. This is a little wet, but what's gonna happen, I want you to keep this right next to you so it refreshes you on, oh yeah, that's the stroke I did next, all right? So if I'm looking at what I want to start with on here first, and I have the purple and white in my hand, I'm going to pick up more purple, work that in, and this is ready to go. Now I do have floating medium, but when you're doing small strokes, single strokes, you should have enough paint that's about 2/3 full. You should have enough paint here that you really don't need the medium. I just want it there in case it gets dry on you. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do with just the purple, I came right here and there's that stroke we made. All right, and I stroke right over that loading area because it still has paint color. And I put another stroke. So they're all coming to one place right there where the stem's gonna grab it, all right? So I might just need to pick up a little bit of white, but here's that stroke I was sharing with you that we push down and stand up. And so you don't always have to do a lot of single strokes. Like I can come in here, a form stroke, I could just push down and pull in, all right? So it's layering, did you see that? All right, so we're gonna put the green little calyx underneath as soon as we learn those a little bit later. But next I'm going to come right here and I want to leave room, just be cautious of leaving room for the stems to be put on. And we're going to just have this whole stem coming out of your vase here. So I have a little bit of lavender there, and then we can do a little scoop stroke here and a little bit there. Now what I did do with some of these is I picked another color up and went on top of this. Like I did some in pink and a little bit of light green, but I just had like the lavender in this area like it was coming off maybe the same stem. So see how I wiggled it just slightly? Okay, so look, I can bring those different strokes that you just learned, see little strokes? All right, and then I can dip into those colors and just pick up paint. So look, I'm gonna push down, push down, push down. See, little strokes there. And I'm gonna come off of here, still going with the lavender, the violet pansy. And when you put white with it, it makes it lavender. All right, and then I'm gonna put a little second color on top of some of these. And then here's your bud, all right? So with the same brush, I'm going to wipe off the excess, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit of magenta and purple, and I can go right here and blend it in just a little bit. All right, so magenta and white, wicker white. All right, and then I'm ready to put a little bit of pink. Now I will do this occasionally because I want to get a variety of colors. So this is the back and this is the front of that flower. I also came in here, a little bit in here. I need more white. So you decide what color that doesn't show anymore. See that? And that pink's gonna be the front layer. I just put it in a couple places. All right, now to make this go smoothly and add more pretty colors, and still have a variety of shading because we're multi-loading the color on here. I'm going to come back to my purple and pick up a little bit of pink right over here in the violet pansy, load, and see it's not pure white anymore. It's just getting a pretty purple shade, and maybe even some pink over there in the white. See that? So now when I come way over here, see the brilliant color it gives you? And it really looks like a different sweet pea than what we had over there, all right? Now later, when I bring some of the green in, I put some citrus green on the top of some of these petals to give you another look. And I want to come over here and go back and practice again. If you feel like, dang, I forgot that stroke a little bit, I need to try it again. Now I want you to see, if I go pick up a little bit more white and I come over here, look what happens. It even gets lighter, and a little bit more white, and it gets lighter. See that? Now your whole goal as you're designing these flowers is decide how many different fun shades you can get in here that will give you that look that we're looking for, okay? But remember, they're on a stem, so I kind of bounced around here a little bit and putting a little bit of those pink and purplish shades over here maybe. All right, so I'm gonna go over again a little bit about these petals. So let's come down here. There's a bud right there, so it'd be small. And that's got the pink and the violet pansy, magenta, violet pansy and wicker white. All right, so now look, I can do a little bit more white there and pick up some magenta again. Now watch these strokes. I'm gonna do just like a teardrop. Then I'm gonna wiggle. I'm gonna pick up some fresh white on the pink and put a shorter layer there and a shorter layer there. So see the little strokes? Each little different stroke that you add on there gives you the complete look. Now I'm gonna come here and right on top of here, you'll see this too, a lot of pretty pinks and the sweet pea. All right, so I had a little bit of purple. I like to get my triangle of color. I like it here, here, here. Then I have another triangle there. And so I'm gonna come right down here with all this color on here, but maybe even get a little bit of white. A little bit more white. All right, if it starts getting pasty at all, just pick up some medium. Like it's a little pasty now, it might be my lights. Well, I'm gonna go right there and work that in, okay? And then as I'm coming around, I wanna still see the vivid color, but sometimes the medium will make it muddy. So you're gonna come here lower. See how this is opening the flower up? All right, little bit there. All right, so a little bit more pink. So you're alternating, do you see that? You continue to alternate color. All right, and I did pick up a little bit more violet pansy and made it a little bit darker in here. Let me wipe that. Violet pansy and magenta, because I wanted it strong right there. See, you can go and stroke right over the color I didn't like. You see that? And I did want some red and purple in here, so I picked up a little bit over here. This is dioxazine purple, so it's deep and rich and pretty. All right, so I picked up a little bit of that. And I put right in here, see the deep purple? You can't get that color unless you have like a dioxazine purple. All right, but see, that's a lot more intense than that color. And then I'm gonna add some red in there. But what I wanna do now is come in with lots of pretty baby pink, all right? So to get that baby pink color, we're gonna wash this out. Sometimes you want all those multicolors in your brush, and sometimes you really want just the magenta and the white. All right, so I'm gonna come here again. Remember, we pick up in between. We find a spot that we can work it in. A little bit more pink and work it in. Now, I load lots of times from right here. Like I can dip and then flatten it, and then I'm ready to paint, or I can dip both colors. You just go get the color you need, all right? So we're gonna do this again, where we put the light pink on the outside, and the front layer is gonna be another color. So I went around, and I did a few of these. And there are a few little ridges there. If you're used to not having ridges, with my technique, we do have ridges on the outside edge. I thought it was like a cool thing, all right? Because it looked more like a textured paint to me. All right, so all of these are just the background. And then we'll put a flower color in front. Let's come right in here, right on that dark blue. So it gives it some depth that you're gonna like. All right, see how we're just addressing each one? I then, right in here, I did come in here and add a little bit brighter pink in some of these places that I already had done. So let's come up here. And remember, I want the baby pink color flower to be in triangles of color too. Sweet pea has this little fluffy little part in the front sometimes, like that. And so I put some of those in here in a couple different ways. So we will show you as we work this in. So I'm still coming around doing the back petals. And every once in a while I'll do both. So here's one up here. So I had that one hanging over here, and then I came way high above the lavender, and I did a bigger petal. See that? This one where I really ruffled it. So it's just like I taught you on the reusable guide, and I came in and did a little bit more wiggle. So see, you can come right here and push as far as I push to get that stroke, so you can feel it, okay? And every time you're going, okay, I've lost it, I don't have it, go back to your guide and practice again. All right, that's gonna help you. All right, so remember, we need the little teeny buds. So we want it kind of rounded, so I can go over that a couple times. All right, so I did already come back and put some pink on some of those. Right in here, we need a little bit of light pink again. And we're almost ready to put those front colors and then get some pretty green in here. Now I kind of played around and I stopped putting some flowers in here and then added the red and purple, just a little bit. But before I go there, let's come back and I'm gonna flip the brush. So I added the purple, the white, wicker white and magenta. All right, so I'm gonna come right in front of here and make it a little bit shorter but more intense by flipping the brush. That's all we're doing. All right, and then here, I've got to make sure I've got good white, but I came right here. See that? You really want it to stand out. And see if you get a really good difference. And these are pretty little ruffly petals on the sweet pea. If you look at one, I used to think, how am I going to paint that? But if you break it down like I'm breaking it down, it makes it really easy for you. Here again, remember, we want a second row and the bright pink petal is on the edge. And then remember, if you just kind of get on the chisel and pull back, you get, watch this, push and pull back, and it completes the little flower. So before I put a whole bunch in there, I'm just looking at my shape, and these are flowers that are hanging and drooping out of the arrangement. And before I put some of these last minute pink petals in here, at this point is when I decided I want a even deeper color. So I'm going to wipe my brush off, and I want you to see that I came in here at this point with the red and purple. This is apple red and dioxazine purple. So it's just like a yummy little splatter of color. So this was a stem in here and maybe a stem in there. And then I came back and filled in more, but see the blue in the background? See the difference that made? And then also look, right in a few of these spots before we put the greenery, I take the pink and white and add a little bit of that citrus green. All right? So it doesn't look like much yet, but the more you put on here, isn't it fun how it's turning into something that's got lots of vivid color? Now purple and red. Dioxazine purple and apple red, look what happens. I'm going to pick up that apple red, work it in. Now, I'm using the dioxazine purple as the depth, and so I want this red to be bright. All right, and I think it makes it a lot richer look on this painting here. All right, now just remember, I'm going to keep picking up that bright red. All right, there we go. Now see the shorter layer here? See, I can still see the purple underneath. And there we go. So push, and a little teeny push there. All right, so see how vivid? I just like that. You can say I would like it more dioxazine purple, just strong purple. You can do that too. I just thought this add a little bit of flair. All right, little push there. So we've got a finish there, and I put a little bit one up here. And remember what I said about my triangle design? It can be color, size, or flower. So I've got this right here. It's not a very good triangle. I need another one over here. So I kind of put it doesn't matter. I can go right over where I already put one. So I'm going to come right in here. See how that makes my triangle? And this is exactly how I design. I come in here and go, oh, I think I want that there. It doesn't even matter if I've already put something there, because that's how flowers are. They'd be kind of underneath another flower. So to me, that gave the dark purple plus this red that I brought in there. Now you can see there's lots of space where I would either put leaves or more little flowers. All right, I'm cleaning out all that paint again and going back to my magenta and white. Now I'm going to work that in really good because I want it still light, light, light pink. All right, so we're going to put a bright white there. See how we're starting to fill that in? And then we'll get some green and go from there. All right, some bright greens. Now, what I did is a lot of these are the background of it, and as I'm coming in, I'm going to do some that are more of a front view. All right, let's see, let's put a little bit here. Now, if this is a front view, I'll show you what's going to happen here. I'll get a little bit more in here. Is that when I put that little bit of green, what it does is it brings that little poofy spot in the front, and I can go to a smaller brush. So let's just get a little bit smaller brush and come in here, and I might use this for my greenery too some. All right, so I'm going to do the pink, a little bit of pink and white, back and forth, get that all loaded in the brush, and then pick up a little bit of green, just a little bit. There we go. All right, so a couple places I came in here. Oh, I've got this lavender on here. So I can come right in here and do that little spot. So actually it comes in here or in there. A little bit in here. I just found a few spots that would make it look like it's in front. And then I put some actually in the purple, which is some of it in this area. See, that kind of brings your pink and right in here, pink and the green in there. Okay, so you decide. I didn't want to overdo it with that, but I still have a really tight shape here. So I want to come and open that up just a little bit, and you can put a few little extra little petals in here, and the green can make a big difference, okay? There we go. So we're almost done. We're going to go back and practice a little bit of our green. And let's get some sap green. So I'm going to put sap green down here with, it's really dark and rich, but we're going to use that bright green because you don't see any dark green in here too much. And we're going to use our little brush for a lot of this. All right. So I'm going to pick up, we've got, let's use our 8, and we have a 2 or a 6. So let's come in here with this, with these brushes, and we're gonna put them in water before we get started. Okay, I'm done at this point. I wanna put some greenery and then see if I need more in my shape, okay? So let's go back to the worksheet, and what you're gonna see is that we have these different sizes that we're going to work with on the leaves, and like these are a little bit larger than what we're actually going to use on our piece today. But I'm going to take this is our 8, and I wet it, dried it, and I'm ready to pick up paint. So I'm coming in between these two colors, which is sap green and citrus green, and then I'm going to work it in really good, and then I'm going to come back and get more. All right, so I'm going to double load those also, but sometimes you'll see I'll even take a smaller brush and I will just pick up and do a little bit of just sap green and sometimes light green with the citrus green. So you want to get a variety of color. Now I'm going to show you that I'm going to practice my blend and see if I've got that. See, it worked really good because I did it in my palette and my double loader. All right, so then I can just practice these strokes, little strokes where you're pushing down, and you have to put pressure to blend, and then you're going to stand up. So if you don't push like this, you don't get the fatness. So you need a fatter leaf there and skinny. All right, some of them we just slide, and here's a big one. We push and we slide, and so you use this brush, this 8 for that size, but if you want smaller like we're going to do, you just size down, same stroke. All right, so you're going to wipe it off and you're ready to go paint them on your piece, okay? So we're going to put this aside, and Now what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to go, first thing I do is go to each one of the flowers that are exposed there at the bottom, and I'm going to do little calyx, all right, those little slider leaves I just showed you, and I'm going to grab the flower, okay? So here's where I grab the flower, and then I pull a stem. Now the stem, I want you to see that if I push this right there into the flower, and let's do it here, right there, let's do a couple of those, then I'm going to take and either pull from the flower into my arrangement, or I can put these here and pull from the arrangement into the flower. All right, so I want some of that light green showing when I'm on a dark surface like that. And you will see as I go into the palette, sometimes I'm just dipping the corners in the color. So it's easy as your first project is to go, especially if you're not sure where to go next, just go to every flower and put a little, I do that with fruit too, like grapes and stuff. I'm gonna go to every little place that there's a blossom and make sure that we put a little leaf in there, okay? Right there, there. See that? And pull the stem. Like there's no stem that you can go to on that one. Put this in there. And also, let's pick up the light green a little bit more. And let's put the light green there. See how it stands out better because it's the lighter green showing on the dark colors. All right. And then out here. So that's an easy step to do. Just go do all the calyx, the little teeny leaves that go into, let's do the bud. And let's push, lift, push, lift. See how bright that green shows up? We touch on the chisel, push away, and stand up. And it gives you a little stem. All right. There's a few others here. Now, at this point, I did have a few little leaves that trailed, all right, and a few leaves that went up here. So remember what I said, I'm going to use that smaller brush, and with the smaller brushes, guys, you will see sometimes it's better to load it all one color, all green, and you can side load the second color just ever so little. All right, instead of doing the double loader like we were doing. All right, so I want you to see that I can come down here and do 3 little leaves and pull the stem. A few out here to fill in this area, see that? And can come out with some itty bitty little vines, and I'll take the script liner. We've got a great little script liner that you can go to from there. And little tendrils, they have lots of little tendrils. All right, now let's come over here. I still want that blue kind of filled in a little bit. All right, and then a few down. I'm gonna do mostly dark green there. So if I have a stem here, I can put little leaves. But see, I think coming in with some dark leaves. So you can go right over if you're unhappy. And a few different places, I did itty bitty dark leaves like this. And you have a 2 also, you can go down to a 2. And that just adds to my arrangement. Okay? Now, let's look at this. I am going to put curly cues, but it's still looking like it's kind of square in here. And so this is a perfect opportunity to come back to my flowers again and then pick out the flower that I want to see more of. All right, so I still think the sweet pea look out here of pinks will really add to it, and a little bud out here. So see, that makes it come out that way a little bit. And maybe we could even do a couple little buds coming there. And it's easy to bring some more down on your vase at any time. Okay, and you're gonna get where it feels very comfortable to add these little petals. I know I look like I'm doing it really fast. You can stop and go pick up some other colors in here and then just add a few more strokes to this and a few more trailing. Because I think what's pretty about a sweet pea is that they have all these little buds that come out little. All right, and remember the curlicues are going to add to it, the little tendrils. Let's bring our sap green over. Okay, now I'm going to go into the water. This is my 2 script liner, and I'm going to make a circle. Let's get more water. So I dip 3 times, and every time I come around in this puddle, I pick up a little bit of that thick green. And it takes me 3 times to get enough, if not more, to paint all the curlicues in my project so I don't have to keep making more. All right, so I can see if that's ready, if it's too watery, or if it's too thick. See the difference? So I'm not uniform enough to be ready, so I'm just gonna get a little bit more. All right, now roll it, and pull away. And now I'm ready. All right, so now I want you to practice. I want you to practice with your little finger. So you hold it up like a pencil, and you're gonna make your little curls. So I can start in here and make little curls because they have pretty little tendrils. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, guys, you can still do some that are just wiggled. I also want to come in here to some of these leaves. Look how cute those little leaves look. All right, so I can take, and I think this is what really makes the sweet pea, is coming all around. Now I am staying right straight up and down, but to be honest, I'm turning mine around so I can get to it. All right, so that's okay. Come here, and to me this is the prettiest part, especially because they are on a vine, affect little curls as they grow. Now I also like to take this liner and some of these smaller leaves, I like to go into those. And you can grab your flower and pull it back sometimes. Push, lift, and or you can make a curl on it, okay? So, there we go. So little dark green leaves, some other, like we can come back in here and grab this with either the small brush, or I added a few of these that might need to be grabbed and brought in. Look at that, I forgot those. All right, so you're gonna go around with lots of little flowers. You can also come in here and add a little bit to the bright red one. See that? And here's a purple. So just, I want you to enjoy it. I want you to have fun with it. I want you to make it yours. Add whatever color you want. I also, at this point, I'm gonna go back to my brush, my big 3/4 inch brush, and I'm gonna come in here with some medium. See the medium? All right. And I'm going back to my first palette, and this is when I can shade, okay? I can take that medium and I can side stroke right there. Either my blue or my licorice, or I can make a gray and side stroke that. And then I can come right along here. I don't want to, this all has to be dry, guys, so I shouldn't go over my little curlicue. And I can just take that medium and I could add that there. But if I say, oh, I wish I didn't do that, there's like a sealer inside this paint. So when it's dry, you could try a few things and take it off and come back again. All right, I still have medium on here. So see, I can shade it. Now, I hope you enjoyed this. I like to come in here and make it a little bit darker over here, but you have to let it dry. Please don't try what I'm trying. Did your parents tell you that? Do what I say, not what I do. Okay, for his finishing touch with that script liner, I'm going to come here and sign my name, and I encourage you always to sign your name on your piece. Now, I take and I pull all downward strokes, and Donna's easy. Okay, and there we go. Okay, was that fun? What we just learned is how to do a different background, more contemporary style, which I think that was fun. And then we did multiple layering of loading the colors so we could layer really pretty sweet peas, and gives you some strokes to practice on during the month. And I want to share with you what I really love is going around the house and finding surfaces that would be really fun to paint on. And with FolkArt Multi-Surface, you get to paint on glass and ceramic. I painted on mirrors, which I really love. You can paint outdoors and paint a birdhouse, or just paint one to go inside your house. And one of the things I started with, guys, is metal. And I love that you can just paint this, and the one-stroke technique works really well on metal because we don't use water, and you're putting thick, creamy, luscious paint, which you're gonna love doing that. I also just wanted to invite you to go and join our Facebook group, which is Let's Paint with Plaid. Now, when you're there, you get to share what you've painted during the year with us, and other people are gonna be sharing, so that's gonna be really fun to go see what's up and what's going on. And another great site is plaidonline.com/Let's Paint, where you're going to see a lot of different lessons, and other artists are going to share those with you. You're going to learn some skills about painting and more one stroke, so come join us there. So, would you like to know what's next month? So May, what we're going to be doing is Lily of the Valley. Now this is going to teach you a whole different stroke. We're going to do tapering down little flowers till they're really teeny, itsy bitsy, some shading in the background, a different container, and just lots more fun. So I'll see you then.